Girls, and welcome to online class of class 11 biology. In the last class we had completed till the first phylum, that is phylum Porifera, and in today's class we are going to continue with the second phylum, that is phylum Coelenterata. As you can see here, the phylum Coelenterata is also known as Cnidaria. Okay, so in many books you will find this name Cnidaria, so don't get scared. Both Coelenterata and Cnidaria are same phylum. Now the organisms of these phylums are mostly aquatic, okay, that is they are found in water. So they are marine, that is in sea water, sessile or free swimming. I told you in the last class that sessile means when the organism cannot move and is attached to a particular substratum, that is it is fixed at a point and cannot move. And free swimming means it is always swimming. Now the next thing is the symmetry. The symmetry is radial symmetry. So there are more than one planes through which if you cut the organism you will get equal halves. Okay. Now the next is why this phylum is known as Cnidaria. As I told you that every phylum has some of its special characteristics. Here also the Cnidaria name came due to the presence of a special cells which are known as cnidoblasts. Actually these cnidoblasts are you can say the stinging capsule or poison cells, okay, which are present in these cnidarians, okay, and they are present on the tentacles of the body. The function of these cells is to secrete poison, okay. They secrete a chemical which is used for defense and capturing of prey, okay. So they use that poison secreted from the cnidoblast cell to protect themselves and also to capture the prey. What they do is whenever they see their prey, they just secrete that poison and the prey becomes paralyzed and then they go and engulf it, okay. Next is you can see tissue level of organization, okay. In Porifera you had seen cellular level of organization. Here you will find tissue level of organization. They are diploblastic. Diploblastic means there is only two germ cell in their embryonic stage, that is ectoderm and endoderm. Next they have a central gastrovascular cavity with a single opening mouth called hypostome. So they have all a single opening mouth which is known as hypostome. Next is in some of the cnidarians you will who are known as corals, you will find a skeleton composed of calcium carbonate. The next point, which is the most important point for this phylum, is they can exhibit two body forms, that is polyp and medusa. Now what is polyp? Polyps are the elongated cylindrical forms which are sessile in nature and which reproduce asexually, okay. So what did I say? That polyp, in some organism you will find that the organisms are cylindrical in shape like this, okay, and they are sessile, that is attached to a place. See here this organism is attached to a place, they cannot move and they divide asexually, okay. But in some organism you will find this umbrella like broader body form which is known as the medusa form, and in this the organism divides sexually. Also you will find some organism which can alter in both ways, okay, like they can reproduce by polyp form, that is asexually, and also by medusa form. So there are organisms which has both these forms, they can change themselves. Or you can say that some organisms have only this polyp form like hydra and some have this medusaid form like jellyfish, okay. So this is the body form, specialized body form which you will find in Cnidaria, okay. And next you will find the examples like Physalia, Adamsia, Meandrina, Gorgonia, Pennatula. These are the example of coelentrates or Cnidaria. The next phylum which we need to study is about Ctenophora. Okay, Ctenophoras are commonly known as sea walnuts or comb jellies, okay, and they are exclusively marine, that is they are found only in sea water. They have radial symmetry. Again you know what is radial symmetry, diploblastic organism with tissue level of organization. So here also you will find tissue level of organization, okay. The body bears 8 external rows of ciliated complex, okay. So on the body you will find external rows, okay, you will find rows with comb like structures, okay, comb like plates. You have seen a comb which is used to comb our hair, so you will find that comb like structures on their external surface which is useful for the locomotion. See here you can see the comb like structures, this is the comb like structure which helps them to move, okay. Now again the ctenophorans also have a specific characteristics, that is they possess the property of bioluminescence. Now what is bioluminescence? That is, they can emit light. Okay, they emit light. Emit light means you will see that they are lighted. Okay, for example, you have seen bulbs. Okay, in our home we use bulbs and tube lights. So they give us light. Why? Because they have the property of emitting lights through them. So when we pass the electricity, the bulbs, they emit light. Similarly, these ctenophorans, these organisms, have the property of emitting light. Okay, natural lights. Okay, sexes are not separate. So when they are saying sexes are not separate means they are hermaphrodite, but the reproduction takes place through sexual means. Now let me explain you one thing over here. When they say a organism is hermaphrodite, okay, they are saying that the organism is hermaphrodite, that is, male plus female sex organs are found in the same body, but they still reproduce sexually. How is this possible? What happens is, suppose this is the organism, it also has the male plus female sex parts, and this is also the other organism which has the male and female sex organs. But what happens is, this male part may reproduce sexually with the female part of the other, and this female part will reproduce sexually with the other's male part. That is, even if they have male and female part in their body, the maturing time of both of them is different. That's why they do not reproduce from their own body. They need another body for reproducing sexually. Okay, even though they have, again I am saying, even though they have both the sexes present in the same body, still they need other body for reproducing sexually, because the maturing time is different. Okay, it is same as the flower case. Even the plant is bisexual in nature, but still it reproduces, like cross pollination. Okay, so self pollination, cross pollination you have studied now. Similarly here also, though they have both the sexes, they go for cross reproduction. Okay, now the next is fertilization is external. Fertilization external means the gametes are produced out of the body, released out of the body, and then there they fuse to form a zygote, and after that there is indirect development. I have already clarified in the last class. Indirect development means there is a larval stage in between. Example is Pleurobrachia, Ctenoplana. Okay, C is silent over here. The next phylum is phylum Platyhelminths. From now on you will study in the next three consecutive phylums, you will study about the different type of worms. Okay, helminths means worms that you will find. Platyhelminthus is the phylum of flatworms. The next, Aschelminthus or Nemathelminthus is the phylum of roundworms, and the third one is Annelida, which is the phylum of ringworms. You have already studied in class 9. Okay, so first is the flatworms. Since they are flat, that is, they are dorsoventrally flattened body. Okay, ribbon like. Dorsoventrally flattened means from front and back they are compressed. See here, from front and back they are compressed, they have a flat body, that's why they are known as flatworms. Okay, they are mostly endoparasite. Parasite means they feed through other organisms body, which is known as the host organism, and since they are endoparasite, that means they live within that animal, inside that animals, including human beings, because some of these are present in the human being's body also. For example, this tapeworm. Tapeworm is found in the intestinal region of human beings. Okay, and this fasciola is found in sheep and pigs. Next is flatworms are bilateral symmetry. You know what is bilateral symmetry? Diploblastic. See, till Ctenophora they were diploblastic, but from the fourth phylum, that is phylum Platyhelminthus, you will find the organisms are triploblastic. Acoelomate, okay, no body cavity is found, and organ level of organization. See, here you had seen tissue, now it has become organ level of organization. That is, you will find organs, the tissues have grouped to form the organs. Now, hooks and suckers are present in the parasitic form. So, those flatworms who are parasitic, parasitic in nature, they have hooks and suckers. These are the hooks and suckers to attach themselves within the body of the host. Okay, they absorb the nutrient directly from the host body and grow. Okay, they have specialized flame cells for osmoregulation, that is excretion process. The flame cells are the special cells through which they do the excretion process. Sexes are not separate. Sexes are not separate means they are hermaphrodite, male female present in same. Fertilization is internal, okay, inside the body. Development is through larval stages, that is indirect development. Some members like planaria is a type of flatworm. They possess high regeneration capacity, that is they have the capacity of regeneration. They can grow their lost types. Okay, example is tapeworm and liver float. Next we have phylum Aschelminthes. Okay, this phylum is also known as Nemathelminthes, okay, or Nematoda. Alright, this is a group of the worms which are round in shape. Okay, they have a circular cross section. You can see they have a circular cross section. Cross section means, suppose this is a worm, and if you cut it, you will get a circular cross section. In case of flatworms, if you cut it, you will not get a circular cross section, you will get a line cross section. But if you cut a round thing, if you cut a cylindrical thing, you will get a circular cross section. That's why they are known as roundworms. Okay, they may be free living, okay, that is free outside, solitary, or aquatic and terrestrial. You can find them in water also and also on land, and sometimes they are also parasitic in plants and animals. Okay, they have organ system level of organization. See, in Platyhelminthes we had found organ, but here you will see organ system, that is many organs have started forming the organ system. Next is they are bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic. Pseudocoelomate. So Platyhelminthes was acoelomate, there was no coelom at all, but here you will find a false coelom. Okay, alimentary canal is complete. So when we say that alimentary canal is complete, alimentary means the digestive canal is complete, that is they have a proper mouth and anus. Mouth from where the things are going inside, and anus through where the things are going out. Okay, so they have a proper anus and mouth. That's why they are saying that alimentary canal is complete with a developed muscular pharynx. Okay, then an excretory tube removes body waste through the body cavity through a excretory port. Sexes are separate. Dioecious means two types of sexes are found, male and female. Okay, here you can see male female separate are found. Fertilization is internal, that is inside the body of the female, and development may be direct or indirect. In some you will find the direct development, that is no adults, no larval stage, and in some you will find the indirect development. Example is Ascaris. This is the image of Ascaris. Wuchereria, Encyclostoma. Last is phylum Annelida. Annels means rings. Okay, so here you will see their body is segmented, giving the appearance of rings on the body. Okay, that's why they are known as phylum Annelida. Okay, now this segmentation I have already explained metamerism. Okay, in last class we have studied about metamerism. So metamerism is what? Body is externally segmented. So see here you can see the image of this leech and Nereis and leech. So you can see there are segments. These segments are equal to each other. That's why they are known as metamer, and this phenomena of possessing this metameres is known as metamerism. Okay. Next is they have organ system level of organization, triploblastic, bilateral symmetry. Okay, and they are coelomate. So see, three types of worms, three types of body cavities. Flatware, acoelomate, round worms have pseudocoelom, while the ringworms have true coelom. Okay. Next, they have small appendages. Okay, so you can see they have small appendages, some of them, which is known as parapodia, and which helps them to move. Okay. Next is nephridia. Nephridia is a special organ in them which helps them in the process of excretion. They also have a neural system. Neural means the nervous system, where they have paired ganglia. Ganglia is nothing but a tumor kind of cells. Okay, it's not a tumor cell but tumor shaped cell more or less, through which the nerve cords are connected, and they don't have a proper brain, and with the help of this ganglion cell you actually operate their nervous system. Okay, some of them are dioecious, like Nereis. Nereis is dioecious, but earthworms and leeches are monoecious. Dioecious means male and females they are separate, but in earthworms and leech they are monoecious, means same body have both the sexes. Reproduction is through sexual form. Next we have phylum Arthropoda. Okay, this phylum is the largest phylum among all the phylums because most number of animals are found in this phylum. Okay, this phylum is basically of the phylum of insects. So whatever kind of insect you see around you, right from cockroaches to mosquitoes to flies, all type of insects are included in this phylum. Okay, now phylum Arthropoda. Arthropoda means, arthro means jointed, poda means leg. So they have jointed legs. See, even we have jointed appendages. We have joint here, we have joint here. Similarly, the insects also have jointed appendages. That's why they are known as Arthropoda. Okay, this is the largest phylum and consists over 2/3 of the total species. Okay, 2/3 of all named species on earth are arthropods. That is what I was saying, that whatever organism we know, out of them 2/3 are arthropods. Okay, so they have organ system level of organization, bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and coelomates. So these are the common things. Next, they have a chitinous exoskeleton. Exoskeleton means their skeleton system is outside. We have, human beings have endoskeleton. We have the framework inside our body. But in case of these insects, in case of arthropods, their skeleton is present outside the body. That's why it is known as exoskeleton. Okay, body is divided into 3 segments, that is head, thorax and abdomen. Okay, here you can see head, thorax and abdomen. Head, thorax, abdomen. Head, thorax, abdomen. Head region, thorax is the chest region and abdomen is the lower part. Respiration is by various forms. It can be by gills, it can be by book gills, book lungs and tracheal system. Okay, these are different type of respiratory organs found in different organisms. Circulatory system is open. Again, in last class I have already explained what do you mean by open circulatory system. So please do follow that video if you have any confusion. Since they have special sensory organs like antennas, okay, through which they sense the prey or food around them. Next is their eyes is compound and simple. So both type of eyes you will find, simple and compound. Okay, statocysts or balance organs are present. Okay, they have a special organisms or which are known as statocysts, which help their body to balance. They have Malpighian tubules for excretion. They are mostly dioecious. Dioecious means 2 types of organism is found, male and female. Fertilization is usually internal. They are mostly oviparous. Oviparous means egg-laying animals. Okay, development may be indirect or direct. That is, they can have larval stage or not. Okay. Some of the economically important insects. Okay, so when they are saying economically important means these help to earn money. Who are they? Honeybee. You know honeybee, apiculture is done for honey and honey is very important and many products are formed from honey. So that's why it is also economically important because helps to earn money. Next is bombyx, that is silkworm. You know silk also helps to earn money. Next is lassifer. I don't know how many of you know about this lac insect. If you have ever been to Rajasthan, okay, the Rajasthani women, they wear a special kind of ornaments, okay, the bangles. People think they are made of mud, okay, but actually it's not made of mud, but it is made of lac, okay. That lac is secreted from the lac insect. Also in government offices where packages are done, like in post offices and all, if you see the males, you will find that a red color sealing element is used to lock the locks, okay, or to seal the locks. That element is also secreted by the lac insect. That is lac actually. So lac insect or lassifer is also economically important. Again, you will find some vectors of diseases, that is mosquitoes. You know Anopheles, Culex, Aedes. These 3 types of mosquitoes are the agents or vectors of many diseases like malaria, dengue. Okay, because of them this disease spread. Okay, mark my word again, because of these the disease spread. They do not cause the disease but help to spread the disease. Okay, there are many pests also, pests for the crops like locust. Living fossil, king crab is known as the living fossil because it is one of the oldest animals known on earth. That's why it is known as living fossil. Okay, so this was all about the phylum Arthropoda. Alright, next we have phylum Mollusca. Okay, So phylum Mollusca is the second largest phylum after the Arthropoda. These can be terrestrial or aquatic. Now mollusca means soft bodies. Okay, these animals have very soft body. Always remember with one example. Snail is the example of mollusca. Okay, so you can remember that snails have very soft body. Okay, they have organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical. Again, triploblastic and coelomate. Body is covered. You know, you have already seen. You must have seen that snails have a cover, strong cover on the outer surface, which is made of calcareous cell, that is calcium. Their body is unsegmented. With a unsegmented means it is not properly divided, but still you can find a head, muscular foot, and visceral hem. You can see a head, you can see a foot. Like if you see a snail, you can see a head, then you can see a muscular foot. If you see, this is the image of a snail, approx image, and within this shell you will find the muscular hump. So head, foot, and hump. Though it is not properly divided, but still they can be distinguished. Okay, even in case of this octopus, head is there, then this muscular hump is there. Okay, foot is there. It is not divided completely, but still the three different parts can be identified. Okay, then the space between the hump and mantle is called mantle cavity. Okay, there is a cavity inside the body, like within this portion there is a cavity which is known as mantle cavity. Then they gills, where the gills are present, and gills helps for respiration and excretion also. The anterior head region has sensory tentacles. In the head region they have tentacles. Snails have proper tentacle which is quite visible. The mouth contains a file like rasping organ for breathing called radula. Okay, so radula is a distinctive feature which is found in mollusca. Inside their mouth they have a file like rasping organ. File like means very thin, straight, elongated organ which is known as radula, and which helps them for feeding. Example, they are dioecious, that is sexes are separate, male female found. Oviparous, that is egg laying, and indirect development, that is they have larval stages. Pila, Pinctada, Sepia, Loligo, that is squid, octopus, Aplysia, Dentalium. These are some examples of mollusca. Okay, so today students, I'll finish the class over here. In the next class we shall continue from the phylum Echinodermata. Okay, I hope you have understood. All you need to know is the basis of classification, and then you just need to memorize it. Okay, once you understand the basis of classification, it will be very easy for you to follow this chapter. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.